right, welcome. So I saw chess.com came out with some new robots, Martin's family. So I thought I'd start with Marty, which I believe is Martin's dog, rated 1350. And I thought I'd hit record and run my big fat mouth as I go through the game. And so I'll try to talk out loud my processes if you're struggling with this robot. And this is going to be a good warm-up game for me because it's been nearly a week since I've played chess and I miss it terribly. I've been busy in my personal life, as it happens to all of us. And so I saw chess.com came out with the new robots and I'm like, this is a great opportunity. Okay, so let's talk about this because this happens a lot in games where this knight comes out into the h6. If I take it, it takes, with the pawn, then the g file will become semi-open because there's only one pawn on it. And usually the rook eyes it, and then you see things where the white squared bishop comes down and eyes the g2 square. And so it's tempting to take this knight, and I'm going to. I like messing up my opponent's pawn structure. However, I'm just trying to emphasize that there's a danger in it. If your opponent throws something that looks real attractive like that, maybe there's a trap to it. So anyway, let me, okay, now here I have the right to en passant. I was looking at that D file, but I saw this en passant, and I'm not sure that is an advantage for Marty. I think I'm going to exercise my right to en passant and take that because that really opens up the king side of the board for my opponent, which is good for me. However, there is dangers in it, like you're seeing starting to take place now. I really expected that dark squared bishop to take, and then it have two attackers on the d pawn, the d4 pawn there. I only have one defender of the knight, and it would have had two attackers, that dark squared bishop. I thought that's where they were headed. 1350, in my opinion, is a respectable ELO. For a robot, definitely respectable for a person. Of course, I'm going to say that. I'm sitting at 1340 right now, so so I don't know. The C file is open. I'm going to grab it with a major piece. Wasn't quite sure what else to do, so I saw that the C file was open, so just own it with a major piece. Little things like that add up. And I was surprised that my opponent castled just because the king has a lot of exposure. And the queens are still on the board. Usually with those queens on the board, you don't want your king exposed like that so much. But no, like I was saying, chess is a harsh mistress. A jealous one and an unforgiving one. If you spend time away from chess, your ELO will hit it in a negative way. Last year at this time, my ELO was in the 1400s, and it was looking like I was going to hit in the 1500s. But I do a lot of this last summer. I did a lot of car shows. Did a lot of work on my hot rods and my two hot rods. So here I've got two pieces lined up. So if that dark squared bishop comes down, you see where it's a relative pin on my knight in front of a major piece. So that's why I pushed the A2 pawn. My opponent has two major pieces lined up, which is not good for me. And I have a knight in my territory. There's a lot of things happening towards my king. I like my knight sitting on the f3 square, but there's a lot of things happening towards my king. And, but yeah, I spent my summer not playing as much chess as I like. And I'm trying to get back to like where I was. So my light squared bishop. I'm thinking about putting my knight back. It's right now my light squared bishop is undefended, but if I move my knight, it's immediately defended by the queen. At 1350, Marty's not going to take a bishop for a queen. So, and then that also attacks the queen. So here my opponent has stepped in front of the king. But I like this knight sitting there on the f3 because it protects that h2 square. I see that a lot in games. I want to go up to the 7th rank with the major piece, but it's too well defended at the moment. But I really want to do something with this queen in front of the king. That king is on a semi-open file. Semi-open because there's only one pawn on it. I want to bring my rook or something into the game and take out that queen because it's defended. But you know, if I step up there, I mean, look what's going to happen. That dark squared bishop and it's going to sit there and say, hey, which one of your rooks do you want to lose? So I have to be careful not to line those up on the dark squares right now. So I want to, you know, the D pawn stopping me from going up on the C file to the C4. I could line up these two, you know, the light squared bishop and my queen, but I don't know that it really goes anywhere. The queen would take, I take with the queen, and then the king takes my queen. So I don't know, it sounds cool, but I don't know that it really goes anywhere. I really want to take advantage of that queen sitting in front of my opponent's king. I'm really looking to do something there with that. It's an itch that I feel like I really need to scratch. And I really want to do that. I want to get a major piece, my rook specifically, a rook, in front of there. It's like I'm trying to think of these moves where don't move, Marty. Just keep that queen and king position right there. Hang on, I'll be right there with my rook. I do have a pawn under attack. I realize that. Yeah, see, the problem with pushing up the C rook is, again, the light square bishop comes down. I have two major pieces lined up on the light squares. So my opponent, I think, has pretty good placement of their pieces. So let's see if we can do something here to get rid of that. Okay, so now I'm trying to free myself up so I can get one of these rooks. Yeah, I realize I can take the A pawn. It's tempting. It's free pawn, but I don't want to be blinded by greed. I really want to, at 1350, robe it. I think I can get a rook lined up to where that queen is pinned. I'm looking to do a hard pin or an absolute pin, is what I have in my head. That's what I'm trying to do. And yeah, so there's only one open file, the C file, and I own it with a major piece, so yay, that's good for me. I'm just looking at all these ideas. I really want to, so yeah, if you don't see that, pause the video here and see what I've drawn out there with the arrows, you know, pinning that queen. But, you know, again, I have to be mindful of several things. But that pawn, that A pawn, is protecting that from that dark square bishop to come down. But of course, now Marty is saying, you know, hey, won't be having any of that. So, and of course, I'm trying to get to the G3 square, but it's pretty well guarded with the dark squared bishop. So I am, good Lord, what is this, move 23? I think this is going to be the beginning of move 24 as soon as I go. And Marty will just not let me carry out my plan. I'm forcing it. I'm probably trying too hard to force it, you know, actually. Oh, yeah, no. So now my knight's in the way is the problem. I'm trying to swing over to G3 with my rook still, and my own knight is in my way. I don't know. I know the e-file is semi-open and I own it with the major piece, but how do I get my rook to G3? And you know, I keep thinking all these different ideas, and there's a greater voice sitting right behind these ideas that I'm barely listening to, and it's telling me that I'm getting tunnel vision, and that happens in chess. And if you follow my channel, you already know this about me, but I get something, an idea in my head, and that bishop is not going to let me, you know, here we go. So but that was a terrible exchange.
Myself? So can you not get my ass?
Yeah, but you know, yeah, I definitely had tunnel vision there. Dang it. And my king is boxed in. I never did anything about this. We're at now the beginning of move 29. As soon as I move, 29 starts. Move 29. My king is boxed in. I never did anything about it. I just had tunnel vision. I just really thought I could put an absolute pin on that queen. I do have an escape route now, though, but yeah. So G7 had the queen not, my opponent's queen not hopped up to the 7th rank, G7 would have been mate, because my pieces were working together. You have to have your pieces work together. Remember, I know I say this a lot, but one piece by itself, even the queen, can't do much. You have to have your pieces work together. And that's the way it is. So my opponent is doing an excellent job of keeping the pieces lying together here. I'm in check. Otherwise, yeah, I was going to lose my queen. Otherwise, H7 would have been mate. If you don't see that, rewind a little bit, go back a little bit, and pause. That H7 would have been mate for me. So I've done terribly, and I've got, I'm down a rook. So I want to see if I can recover. I'm not going to resign or anything like that. My opponent has played a better game than I have. However, I'm going to see if I can recover. And it's actually good that I hopped down here on the 2nd rank. I kind of had to. But when you're trying to promote, all things being equal, it's best to have your major piece under your pawn and then push up. You know, have you ever played a game where you or your opponent, your major piece is on top of your pawn and you just can't seem to get it promoted? You know, why is that? Well, you need your major piece under and then push up is usually what you want to do. Okay, so here my idea is want to swing into the C file, go for check. My opponent takes with the B rook, and then I promote and get a queen. But 1350 is not falling for these old gags. Some of these tired old gags I use, 1350, it doesn't work with 1350 robots. But yeah, so we'll see how this plays out here. So I think, proper play should finish this. But, the big takeaway from this video is, you have to be openly positive and mentally flexible, because I was trying to force my ideas and it wasn't happening, and it caused me to definitely have a losing position. Now here I could just cut off the king with the rook and promote one of these pawns. However, because I'm trying to warm back up, I don't want to do that. I want to use my king and my rook together to force the mate. And let me make sure I get my steps down correctly. I'm just making a box smaller and smaller. And I got to use my king, bring my king in here to the action. And so, yeah, this is going to end it. So, hey, thanks for watching. I hope you had a lot of fun. I hope this helps you. Give it a like if it did. That helps me out a lot. It encourages me to make more videos and try to, get my steps down here correct. Now, Marty's going to go for a stalemate. Don't let that happen. Make sure your opponent always has a square to go to. We don't want to end in a stalemate. I've lost many live games doing that. I'm going to get back to playing live games. I just need to get warm up with some of these bots. I'm going to try to get back up to the 1400s again here. So yeah, thanks for watching. Of course, there's only one move they can go to, and then that's mate. So this is a fun bot. Yeah, the big takeaway is don't suffer from tunnel vision like I did. Cheers.